Welcome back to Tales from Moreni KG. If you are new here, this is Tales from Moreni KG. Do well to subscribe, like, and share. Thank you. Once upon a time, there was a family of 12 brothers. A little family that started to grow and to expand until the land could no longer contain them. They were so closely knitted that even their growing size could not break their bond. They grew from 100 to 1,000, and from 1,000 to tens of thousands, and from tens of thousands to 100,000, and to hundreds of thousands. The people embarked on a journey to find a more spacious home and an identity for themselves. They fought battles and conquered kingdoms to take for themselves lands and to make for themselves a name feared among kingdoms. Their warriors were fierce, their women strong, and their children skilled. Behold, the kingdom of Atari was born. The kingdom of Atari was united and strong only by their firm belief in the God of their ancestors. They were ruled by a judge who doubled as their priest. They enjoyed fruitfulness and prosperity. They also enjoyed peace, but for their stubborn enemies who they met in the land when they took it as their settlement. Akon kingdom made themselves sworn enemies of Atari kingdom. They were also strong and fearless warriors. They had an organized battle-ready system. Their war machineries were incomparable to any other found in all other kingdoms. Their king was a mighty warrior who was to them a small god. With their king ready to lead them into war against the kingdom of Atari, Akon kingdom was sure of victory. Ruled only by an old priest, who and whose sons were not one of the best warriors, the people of Atari were troubled. Yes, the God of their ancestors was with them, and none compared to him among all other gods. But they wanted a king who could lead them to the battlefield like Akon kingdom. They wanted a king for themselves like the other kingdoms. Sikendu Roy, Olamjire, Agabaidu, Oyimimi Ojomi, the God of my ancestors. These people have requested for a king. In their eyes, I have become unfit to rule them. Omachu the high priest and judge said soberly. Sitting alone in his hut, the spirit of Agaba came upon him and led him to the mountains. Atabo was a young and naive man. He belonged to a little family that could be considered insignificant in the kingdom. He was from the smallest clan, from the descendant of the last of the 12 brothers who grew into Atari kingdom. On that fateful day, while he was on errand for his father, he met Omachu the priest on his way to the mountain. Omachu took Atabo to the mountain where he coronated him as king over the kingdom of Atari. This was a secret coronation that was between Omachu and Atabo. In those days, matters were settled and agreed upon by casting of lots. Omachu the high priest then assembled the people to select a king over them. Lot was casted, and the lot fell on Atabo. The coronation ceremony then began immediately, but Atabo was nowhere to be found. A search party was quickly organized, and in no time, Atabo was found hiding within the musical instruments of the cultural troupe. Atabo was crowned king, even though some people felt he wasn't qualified to be king over them. Akon Kingdom, on the other hand, advanced towards Atari in battle. They attacked one of the settlements of Atari Kingdom, and Atabo took with him 3,000 warriors to fight the Akon warriors. They defeated the Akon warriors and took back their settlement. Atabo began to fight diverse battles, and he came back with victory always. The people began to accept him wholeheartedly and to love him. One day, Omachu the priest came to Atabo in his palace to give him a word from their God, the God of his ancestors, Agaba. Agaba was sending Atabo to destroy a kingdom, and Atabo was told to burn the kingdom and everything in it to the ground. Atabo took his best warriors, and they headed towards the kingdom. They attacked and utterly destroyed the kingdom. They finished, and Atabo was taking a drink, reflecting on his victory, when two warriors brought to him a treasure box that contained treasured stones of many colors. Atabo looked at the stones greedily and smiled sheepishly. Looking up, he sighted an animal farm filled with cattle. They were irresistible, and so Atabo and the warriors took them. The warriors also took for themselves spoils from the kingdom before they set it on fire. On their way back to Atari, with pride, Atabo rode on a white horse that was taken from the conquered kingdom. He looked upon the warriors and the war spoils going before him and said out loud, "Even Agaba cannot resist this victory, and the sacrifices we would give him from the spoils. Looking down on us from the heavens, he must be glad he chose me to be king over Atari. It is so satisfying how that I made a great king." Atabo laughed proudly. Atabo, king of Atari Kingdom, how that the God of your ancestors looked upon you with favor and chose you as king in the days when you were insignificant, both in your own eyes and in the sight of others. Omachu the priest said with anger and sadness, "Omachu, the great priest of our land, what brings you? Oh, you must have heard about how well I have carried out the assignment given me by Agaba through your mouth." Atabo said to the priest with a sense of pride and accomplishment, "How well have you done, Atabo? Didn't the God of your fathers say unto you to utterly destroy the Amalekites? What then bleats from your backyard?" Omachu questioned. "Oh, that the warriors found the best of the cattle befitting for Agaba. We would offer them unto Agaba. Thanks be the God of my ancestors who has brought you right in time." Atabo replied, "When has Agaba become so greedy, or perhaps hungry, that he would prefer sacrifices from a man who dishonors him enough to disobey him?" Omachu the priest lamented. "Atabo, how that the God of your ancestors gave you another chance to prove yourself. A while ago, you desecrated the altar of our God by offering sacrifices on the altar. You have become so big in your own eyes that you qualified yourself to carry out responsibilities meant for only the priest. Atabo, this day your kingdom is taken from you and given to another whom Agaba can trust. Omachu announced and left the palace. The elders say, "He who the gods want to destroy, the first make mad." This is true of Atabo, as he only grew worse. Everything he did were the opposite of Agaba's will and plans. Atabo left the affairs of the kingdom and chased personal businesses. He kept striving and striving and striving to establish a reign that he had cut short by foolishly going against Agaba, who made him king. While Atabo was busy killing and chasing his own people, whom he perceived to be threats to his reign, he left the kingdom vulnerable to attacks from enemies without. All the while, Akan kingdom was reinforcing, but personal ambition and foolishness had driven Atabo mad. One day, Akan kingdom brought war to Atari, and Atabo called on the god of Atari, but he had long left him. Atabo turned to foreign mediums for help, but that only took him farther from Agaba, the god of his ancestors. Atabo was doomed for destruction. Unfortified, he and the warriors entered the battlefield. Akon advanced against Atabo and his warriors. All of Atabo's 3 sons died at the battlefield that day by the sword of Akon warriors. Wounded by Akon warriors, Atabo fell over his sword to save himself the shame and pain of being captured and tortured by Akon warriors. Akon warriors took away with them his head as their trophy, while his body laid shamelessly on the battlefield. This is the end of the mad king and his short reign. What a sad ending. Dear friends, no matter the heights you attain, you will always be accountable to God. Running against him is like running against the tides, and you will be headed for destruction. Also remember, God has no delight in your sacrifices, your offerings, seeds, and works if you dishonor him. And living in sin and disobedience is dishonor to God. Our sacrifices, our offerings, our seeds should be a proceed of honor to God, because giving is honor. What have you learned from this story? Kindly share in the comment section. Don't forget to like, share, and comment. And if you have not subscribed, if you haven't subscribed yet, I don't know what you are still waiting for. Kindly do so now. Hit the bell now. Thank you for doing that already, because it encourages us to do better. Thank you for watching. Bye. See you next time.